Hi guys, it's Debbie here, also known as Vegan Mommy D. So today's video is going to be a Dr. Mcdoughall style of eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snacks. So I actually tend to eat a lot like Dr. Mcdoughall's style normally, but I'm not super strict about it. So the Mcdoughall diet is basically very low in fat. It's going to be high in fiber. So it's mainly starches that you're going to be consuming, like potatoes, organic corn, you're going to be having brown rice, that kind of thing. So that's what he's promoting. And also fresh fruits, vegetables, very important for the diet. It's not the starches that we're eating that we should be scared of. It's what we're putting on the starches. So it's the butters and all the oil that we use when we make these meals. That's where he says we're going to create an unhealthy state, and you're basically prepping your body for illness. And his whole point of view is, even if you're going to have fats, it should be coming from natural sources. So we're talking about avocados, there's a natural source of fat and it's good for you. There is nutrition behind having avocado, so it's not just empty calories. So he's looking at that, and he's looking at having like nuts and seeds to get some of your fats in, but again in very small quantities, because he feels that we don't need the high fat diet. That's what promotes illness. That's where we run into problems. So that's what I'm trying out. The Dr. Mcdoughall diet is going to be, mainly starch, and that really scares people. They're like, I can't just eat like starch all day long. I'm going to blimp out. He says you have to be active. He wants everyone to be active daily. But this is the thing. He's saying that you can eat as much as you want until you're super full and you can't eat anymore. When it comes to starch, he wants you to eat the potatoes and eat the brown rice until you are super stuffed. It's what you're putting on the starch that is the issue. It's the butter, it's the oils, it's all that extra stuff that is bumping up the calories and giving you no nutritional value. That's what he's pointing out when he's saying no oil, because then it changes everything. You go from having a healthy whole foods potato to having garbage all over it, and then what's the point of even eating it? So that's what we have to look at. We've got to look at what we're putting on the starches. That's the main thing. And he wants us to be eating high fiber and having a lot of healthy fruits in our diet, and of course tons and tons of veg, as much veg as we can get in, because that is a balanced diet. Okay, so let me show you what I have. I have an extra firm tofu block. Sometimes I just get the firm instead of extra firm, and that works out really well as well. And then you're just going to crumble this up in your pan and you're set. So the seasonings I'm going to use is paprika. I'm going to use some garlic powder, chili powder, cayenne. Also I have this salt-free garlic and herb seasoning blend that I got at Target. And then of course Mrs. Dash, pretty simple. I'm going to add turmeric powder to mine, and instead of oil I always use just a tiny bit of vegetable broth, whatever I can find in the store. For some reason vegetable broth is really hard to find. You can find all other broths, but veggie broth not that often. Sometimes I get mushroom broth as well. And then I'm just going to wrap them in these corn tortillas. These are white corn tortillas. So I'm just going to add some of this garlic and herb salt-free seasoning into the rice, and then I'm going to put it on for about 20 minutes.
Perfect.
1 tablespoon of turmeric powder. So there's the red peppers. So 1.5 cups diced up bell peppers. If I have the mix with the carrots and peas, then I'll also add in 1/2 cup of that, but I don't have that today, so I'm just gonna stick with the soybeans and the red pepper. Whatever you have, this is a great way of reusing different veggies, so you just don't toss them if they're leftovers. Just toss them into tofu scramble and everything will pretty much work. So I'm gonna go ahead and add another tablespoon, maybe 1.5 tablespoons of the broth. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the nutritional yeast. That was the ingredient I forgot to show you earlier. That's what's going to give this like that cheesy texture. Also loaded with B vitamins, so it adds a nutrition punch to your scramble. You can make it without it. Some people don't like the taste of it. That's fine. You can actually make this without it. It's not a big deal. So I actually allow my pressure cooker to release naturally, and then I will actually take out the rice that I need for my tofu scramble, and I'll allow it to cool a bit because it'll get mushy in the tofu scramble if you don't let it cool off a bit. So this is pretty much done. I'm going to remove it, let it cool off for a bit, and then I'll pop it into the tofu scramble. So I'm going to be topping my scramble with some just fresh spinach. You can top yours with whatever you want, whatever greens you want, or leave them out. You can also add the spinach right to the tofu scramble if you want it a little bit more wilted. I feel like it's warm enough that it wilts it when you already have it assembled. Yeah, so that's just my preference. And I don't use salsa, but you could also add salsa on top. Okay, mix it through. I've used different types of rice, wild rice, brown rice, basmati rice. It all works. It really doesn't matter. It just depends on what your preference is or what you have on hand. I happen to have basmati that I have to use up, so that's what I'm using. So I put 1 cup in, but you can put more or less depending on what you want. Or you can keep it on the side, like I said, and not mix it in. So I just combined it. Said you can customize it to whatever you have on hand, whatever veggies you have on hand, whatever rice you have, or you can leave the rice out and just eat the tofu. That's entirely up to you. I also will add potatoes chopped up if I'm not using rice, and I'll add that in if I have extra cooked potatoes. And that's it. It's super flavorful and delicious. You don't even have to eat it with a wrap. You could eat it on its own, and that's perfectly fine too. That would be a great meal. So as far as the seasonings go, I added about 1 tablespoon of each of them. I did add a little bit extra paprika afterwards, just as I was finishing, because I really like the paprika taste to my scrambles and pretty much everything. But again, you just add whatever spices you think you'll enjoy and it will work great. Okay, so I warmed up the tortillas, like I said, so they're a little softer. And then you just top it. These are small. You can actually get bigger ones, but this is what I have. So I'm going to be using these up. And then I just add a little bit of the spinach. And that's it. So like I said, if you want salsa or any other toppings, you can do that, but they're like little wraps and they're just easy, you know, like looks really yummy. So make a few of these. Okay, so for the mac and cheese, I've got raw cashews, I've got pureed pumpkin, organic white miso, turmeric powder, paprika, black pepper, nutritional yeast, and we've got the Super Grains pasta from Go Quinoa. It's basically a mix, chia, quinoa, amaranth, everything is mixed together. It's a really, really good pasta. I get it at Costco, so it's vegan and gluten-free as well. And yeah, and then I'm just gonna add water as well to our sauce. And I'll also add some plant-based milk as well, just to thin out the sauce a little. And that's pretty much it.
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
I've got 4 cloves of garlic, but they're small. They're going in. This sauce looks absolutely amazing. It tastes so good. I can't wait to add it to the pasta and enjoy. So I'm gonna have this with a side salad, but you could add, you know, like broccoli if you wanted to the mac and cheese, or mixed veggies. That would work out really well. But yeah, this was extra pumpkin that I had because I had only used half of a can. And you know, it's a good way of reusing what you got and recreating a new recipe. And like, this is insanely good. So I'm gonna make split pea soup today. So for the split peas, I just have this mix that I found. I don't really have a brand that I stick to. I just grab whatever is available. This one has green split peas, yellow split peas, red, and also has patna rice. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Black turtle beans and green lentils. So this is like a mix, basically. Like I said, whatever I find is what I pick up, and that's what I'm going to be using for today. So I also have 4 little, they're really small, little potatoes, and then 1 medium-sized potato that I'm going to be chopping up as well. And then I'm just going to use veggie broth. This is the only veggie broth that I could find. So here's the mix. I'm going to give it a nice little rinse, and then I'm going to add it into the pressure cooker. So there's 2.5 cups here. So this is what I decided on: 2 of those huge cloves of garlic, and I just did 2 little ones because these are really big. And then there's the chopped up onion, really finely, and again our potatoes. As far as seasonings go, I'm going to be adding a little bit of oregano. Also going to be adding less than half a teaspoon, I think, of turmeric, and then a teaspoon of the curry powder. This is just bought in bulk. And then also some Mrs. Dash. I don't usually measure Mrs. Dash, but I'm going to start with a teaspoon, and then you can kind of season it to taste afterward. Saute that for another minute. Add the potatoes in after, so they're gonna go into the pressure cooker for like maybe not even 10 minutes. I'll see how well the lentils are cooked. I like to start the split pea and lentil mix first, and then I add the potatoes in. Check for the seasoning to see how much more seasoning I need to put in. Also, I will add some more broth. So I already put in 1 whole container of broth, but I probably will put another half of another one in.